a lot of people say, man, there's a lot of fat cops out there. Academy must be very easy for so many fat people to be police officers. They probably were like me and didn't start off that way. When I entered Academy, I was 160 pounds. 15 years later, I'm 240 pounds. Now, keep in mind, some heavier guys have come through the Academy, but hey, they know how to pick up that weight and move with it. They know how to pick up that weight, go over that 6-foot fence or gate in the requirement. They know how to maneuver through the obstacle course and walk the balance beam. They know how to drag the, I forgot what the dummy weighed. The little dummy drag. It may have been 160 pounds. Don't quote me on that. You know, and they can successful in pushing the squad car. They were successful in what else we have to do? Oh, running a mile and a half and completing a mile and a half run in 15 minutes, which is a lot of time to run a mile and a half. I mean, 15 minutes is a lot of time. With just a good pace, you know. But this job is a real easy job to gain weight in. Like I said, you know, I went in the Academy, I was 160 pounds. I may have been 150 coming out because PT, physical training, was every other day, you know. So every other day we would have to get out and go through that whole course. We go run a couple of miles, 2 or 3 miles on those days, do the push-ups and pull-ups and, you know, just everything PT related, you know, throughout the 20 weeks of Academy. So of course I got a little more toned up and lost a little bit of weight. Okay, that's being very active. That's being very active for 20 weeks. In my personal life, I continued to go jogging and stuff like that, you know, just so I could stay conditioned for Academy. Okay, let's say once you're out of Academy and, you know, through riding with your field training officers, and you're on your own. Now things change a little bit. You're now working anywhere from a 8, 10, or 12-hour shift. And in that time period, yeah, you may work a police department that have a high call volume. The one I work have a high call volume. And you've been thinking like, man, you know, how you have time to gain weight? You in and out of the car. I'm driving everywhere I go. You know, I don't care if I get, you know, 10, 15 calls that day. I'm driving to each one of them. I get out the vehicle and I'm maybe walking, 10, 15 steps to the door. Knock on the door, person come out. But the call volume is constant. It's so high, you know, very little downtime. So when you go grab you something to eat, it's going to be something you can eat right quick. So it's probably going to be something unhealthy. And so you're driving around with your food in the car. Stuff you get at the gas station, the store, or whatever. Sodas, snack cakes, potato chips. It's all this unhealthy stuff you driving around eating all the time. And before you know it, adding on a few more pounds. 15 years later, you 240 pounds. That was my case. 240 pounds. I mean, I didn't take 15 years to get to this point, but I'm just saying gradual. The snacking, the bad food and the snacking increased, and the physical part of my life decreased. Now, I didn't have to. You know, you have a lot of people who just love fitness. I'm not one of those people. You got a lot of people that love fitness and they, you know, still continue to go run and stuff. Once those hours kicked in and that workload kicked in, I would get off work, take a shower, and go to sleep. Wake up, eat, go back to work, repeat. But yeah, that's how it happens. You know, I guess you could say the workload and life just catch up. You know, you find yourself doing more driving and snacking than keeping up some sort of a physical fitness routine. So that's where it happens. You know, you may have a 300-pound cop, you know, 350 pounds. That man or that woman may very well have been 160, 175 pounds while in academy and just gradually started gaining weight throughout the course of their career. But it's a very, very easy career field to gain weight in, especially if you work the overnight shift. Overnight shift, things slow down a little bit. I didn't say stop. It slows down a little bit. And, you know, you're still driving around that car snacking. You eat more junk food now because not a lot of restaurants are open. So you're eating more gas station type Debbie snack cake items. And when you get off work, you come to work 6 p.m. We work 12-hour shifts. So you come to work at 6 p.m. and get off at 6 a.m. Probably gonna hit the shower, go to bed. So you've snacked all night, got off work. Basically, let's back up a little bit. You rode around that car snacking all night, got off work, hit the shower, went to bed. Very little physical activity taking place. Very easy to gain weight in this career field if you're not careful.